Hi, my name's Taylor. I am here. I'm going to talk a little bit about STDs. I want to go ahead and inform you guys a little bit about your risks, since you all look like you're maybe between, 18, maybe 21. Seem like you're all really fall into that age range where it's most effective. So really just want to go ahead and take a little bit of your time, talk about it, and hopefully help you understand a little bit more about it. So STD, what we have here is a sexually transmitted disease. You typically get these when you have unprotected sex. Best things you can do, maybe use a condom, definitely. It's not always going to be 100%, but it's better than using nothing, and you're much, much more likely to not get one. Other things, birth control, they say does contribute a little bit. Not fully, but it's the best. That's really, you're not going to even use a condom. You should probably at least use birth control. Several people have it. You actually realize 1 in 4 have it. You really wouldn't think 1 in 4 people you see. Think how many people you see a day. You're going to go ahead, all those people, you take 1 in 4, you see tons of people who actually have these. A lot of people don't know they have them. So, we have things where you can go see a health clinic at your school, you can go to the doctors, you can get tested regularly. Even if you're changing partners, you need to go ahead and get tested because they're spread. People don't know they have them, and it's a never-ending cycle at this point. We have some of the most common are going to be chlamydia and gonorrhea. Other ones that we have includes syphilis, herpes, HIV. Gonorrhea and chlamydia specifically, they can be cured, but it gets into other territories where things can't be cured. And if you use a condom, you can prevent that. It's a life-changing experience. If you go ahead and get that, that affects your whole entire life. Chlamydia is probably the most common. Women are typically the ones who have symptoms. Men typically don't display symptoms at all. Rarely they will. Common among women, we have burning sensation when urinating. Sometimes can be misdiagnosed as a UTI, but that's one thing to maybe, if you're having unprotected sex, that you should really think about and keep in mind. Some other things include vaginal discharge. This can be if it's abnormal in color, typically about white or yellow. Like, you want to keep up with that and make sure that, that can also be a symptom of UTI, but keeping in mind what symptoms of chlamydia are like. Pain during sex, it's another thing to keep in mind. Make sure you're really keeping track of everything, and really just use condoms. It's the best way to prevent it. You won't have to worry about any of this. Bleeding between periods, it's another thing. Gonorrhea is much less common, but it does include symptoms like pain and burning. Sometimes mistake for UTI again, but keeping in mind. Vaginal discharge again, and then bleeding between periods. Like I said, 2 most common, but it's not the only thing you can have. When we go here, we're looking at chlamydia. This is per 100,000 people. Chlamydia, like I said, is much more common than gonorrhea. We see that it mainly affects women, and really 15 to 24, what I say, are the biggest issues. People unaware, not having, not using protection like they should. We see here that they're really, really affected, and it makes a big deal. Chlamydia, like I said, men don't really have it. Even though women have it more, it's getting passed along, and we got to make sure that we're doing something about it. We see as it increases, it does get a lot less. Even just the total, there's 4,000 more women that get it in men over all the ages. It's a big difference. If we can make all these women aware and maybe get checked more, your student center offers free tests. It's free, it's a little bit of your time, and it's going to make a big difference. Go ahead and we can look at gonorrhea. Same thing, it's going to be per 100,000 people. We see these numbers are much less drastic. Overall, we're only at 102. Chlamydia was at 6,000. That is significantly bigger. Go ahead, even if we're looking around the 15 to 24, see that the numbers much, much lower. Chlamydia was back at 3,000. I understand it doesn't have symptoms, but typically women do experience symptoms, so you think that maybe they'd go get tested or do something to really increase that. We see that surprisingly, chlamydia was a lot higher, and even down in the 65 plus range, and honestly even 55 to 64. That was a 11 for chlamydia in women. So it's definitely an issue, and there's much more that we can do. And maybe if we spread awareness quicker, talk in schools. You know, they started talking about it at a very young age. Maybe if we can inform sooner and really show people the actual numbers instead of just talking about it and having it something that we can hear. You know, really show people what's actually experiencing and how much it affects you. Maybe do reports of people talking in their experience. While chlamydia and gonorrhea are curable, you get into diseases like HIV and others where you can't, that's forever. It's a forever risk that you're taking if you don't use a condom and you have unprotected sex with people. You know, we really need to get this awareness out, maybe more governmentally funded programs to really help people understand what they're doing. The sites that I used, I strictly wanted to stick with all kind of governmentally funded. So I did the CDC, you know, that's somewhere, a government organization that we use a lot. I did West Virginia had a program, and I used some other sites like WebMD. I really just trying to get this information out here. I hope I didn't waste too much of your guys' time, and I hope you really understand the risks that you face being in the age group that you are. Thank you so much for coming.